Hey, let's move on. I am going to come back to some
Cool.
American stuff later on tonight, and it's just going to be more about
Cool.
the fallout at the moment from a lot of Trump voters going, what the hell have I done?
Yeah.
We'll get to that towards the end of the show. But right now, let's have a look at this situation in New Zealand around the Hikoi. I'm going to play the piece from One News tonight. Let's start with that, and then love to get your take on it, Shane.
Yeah.
In the darkness, figures emerged from the fog. United in their cause, flags flying high with the long journey ahead. Daylight struggling to cut through, but those gathered here hope their future will be much.
Māori people kind of a spiritual people. You reckon starting in the fog and the kind of dark weather, there's some significance there?
Yeah, I think so. But Kaperanga, but also the significance in 1975. That's where Dame Whenekupa March started from. There is a movement happening, and I think that we'll see numbers in Wellington next week, 40, 50,000. But I also don't think it's just to be about the Hikoi. I don't think it'll be just about what happens next week. I think that there will be a lot of ongoing pressure in the government, and there are thousands of our treaty partners that are concerned about this, that will be activated. And I think that, parliamentary representation and gaining social benefit as a result of parliamentary representation is important. But also I think activism, protest, that does bring about real change. And, my gosh, give you an example. The mood of the board report, the CEOs, they actually marked Seymour down, and they said that he was focusing on issues that that do create division, that are of concern, and the economy is not doing as well as they would have expected under this government. So, I think there's a whole lot of complex issues that this government and its coalition partners will face. We've got a Roy Morgan poll, which I'm not a big fan of, but, those numbers are quite stark. We'll see where the next one comes out. But back to the Hikoi, it's going to be a big movement, and I think it's going to unite a lot of people from the left and even from middle New Zealand. And here's the other thing that Seymour underestimates. He underestimates the fact that we are moving towards a bicultural country, that particularly young people don't have the hang-ups that many older folks in Aotearoa New Zealand have. And there are 1 million Māori that live in this country. And times have changed, but he hasn't. He's trying to turn back the clock. And I think it's just a mass movement, both politically and fundamentally, that will get some cohesion.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll keep going with the story. Here we go.
Clearer.
This Hikoi is just a platform for more, for better, for a journey well beyond Parliament.
To send a signal to the whole world that we will keep marching until we get our sovereignty.
And as the Hikoi began, children led the way.
Our tamariki mokopuna seeing our people stand. And no longer will we be relegated to the back of history books, but we will be paving our own future.
There was solidarity from treaty partners too.
In this context, if it's just Māori raising this voice, then that's not going to get us far enough, because we need to do this together.
Tell me something. You'll know the history of it better than I. How was non-Māori involvement in 75? Like, what kind of percentage or what kind of activeness?
Look, we've got there's a history of Pākehā solidarity and support within the Māori movement. You just take, I can name John Minto, I can name Jane Kelsey, Tom Newman, who has passed away. It's been deep, and it's been long, and it's been well appreciated. And Mona Maniapoto's done a lot of good work on this issue about the importance of our allies. And I think it's been but I think it's just growing. And also, Pat, the world has changed. I'm 57. I came from a small town where there was a Pākehā family here and a Māori family next door, and then a Pākehā family and a Māori family. Doesn't work that way now, man. We're much more mixed bicultural society than we were in 1975.
And there's also a much different, I like the way non-Māori think about Māori issues is different. So even if it is a Pākehā family, they would, who's younger, let's say Gen X, Y, Z, who think very differently about Māori issues than perhaps in the 70s, 80s, even 90s, that Pākehā family did. So it'll be interesting to see. And look, we're obviously huge supporters here. It'll be interesting to see once the culmination of the march happens at Wellington, the mix between Māori and non-Māori that are there and other, it's going to be
Pacifica, Tangata Pacifica. No, I think there's more than a march. I think that there is a movement. I think also the economic issues and the economic chasm that exists in New Zealand between those that have and those that don't. I think that would be part of the agenda. And some people will call it rent a mob, but no, these issues, whether it be the environment, whether it be economic disparity, whether it be te tiriti, these issues do accumulate, and they do bring on people on the one waka for different purposes, but going in the same direction. And I think that we're going to see something here in Aotearoa next week and beyond that we haven't seen for quite some time, and it will worry this government. Well, it bloody well ought to, though.
Yep. All right, let's go.
A peaceful welcome in Kaitaia, with locals joining in on the march.
I'm here to stand up for our rights, stand up for our treaty.
To support my whānau, my people, my tamariki coming.
Te iwi Māori is coming together against the current political landscape.
The Treaty Principles Bill is due for its first reading at Parliament on Thursday. Its architect welcoming the debate.
This protest is against a range of government policies, including the Treaty Principles Bill. I believe it's important that we have open dialogue against our country's future.
But the Greens say it's a waste of time. They want MPs to be free to vote how they feel on the issue, rather than following party lines.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've always been a bit concerned, Shane, that when the Prime Minister says we'll only support it to the first reading, that maybe the second reading will be a conscience vote and they'll just happen to all vote the same way. National didn't support it, but I don't think that anymore. But Chloe's about to talk about conscience votes, and it might be interesting to see if the conscience vote happened. Maybe it wouldn't even make the first reading if people, because Luxon was saying on Guy and Espina's show last week that this is divisive. So this is divisive. It's a divisive. So he was saying it. So if there was actually a conscience vote, I wonder if it would even get through the first reading.
Yeah. The other thing is that he will be polling his own people. He will be polling the landscape, and he will know this is not good for them.
Yeah. Yep. All right. This has got about 30 seconds. Let's get to the end.
Yeah.
We do not have to have something that is prescribed by one guy and one political party, which is evidently going against all of the evidence, all of the history, and to be frank, the truth of what Te Tiriti o Waitangi is.
I get it. There'll be people that will be frustrated on all sides of that debate about that conversation. But this is a modern MMP environment coming to life in New Zealand.
Debate heating up as the Hikoi marches on.
That'll do us. So, what are your overall thoughts, Shane? I mean, that's the.
You go. Sorry, carry on, Pat.
No. I don't really have anything. You go.
No, my overall thoughts is that I'm very optimistic about Māori, non-Māori relationships in Aotearoa. I think that we've grown well as a country, that we are going towards a level of biculturalism every day. I am concerned about, ACT's agenda and New Zealand First agenda, but overall, to be honest, Pat, I'm very optimistic, and I think that there's an old saying: political parties come and go, but the treaty endures, and it's so historically and politically entrenched in our society. We ought not to take this for granted, but I think we're going to be fine, Pat.
What do you think? And I'll hopefully talk to Eru later this week, and I'll ask him the same question. But what do you think the target of this march is? What do they want to achieve, and what do you think it will achieve?
I think what they want to achieve is to show you that there's real opposition to this unnecessary piece of legislation on the bill, the Treaty Principles Bill, that the treaty is a construct of contract that warts and all has suited and has had real benefit to New Zealand and Aotearoa as a whole. So I think that's
So you're saying they want to make they're making a point. I'm not minimizing, but they're making a point. They're making a point. Just so you guys know, this is how New Zealand is feeling. That's what they wanted to achieve. Do you think that will achieve anything?
Oh no, I think it will, and I think it will scare the Prime Minister, and I think he will sooner or later have to show some leadership over this, because you simply can't sit on the fence on this issue, because you get splinters on your backside. So the Prime Minister will have to show some leadership. I haven't seen it to date, but I'm hopeful.
I don't know. Because he's got us out. He's got us out. You heard him saying it there. He said, "Oh, welcome to the MMP government. This is what it is." And he said with Guy and Espinal, I don't want this, but this was part of the negotiation. So Luxon is a any means to an end Prime Minister. He's like, I will sell my soul to the devil if it means that we can get into power and I can get through a third of what we ultimately would like to get through.
Yes, so, but ultimately politicians want to get re-elected, and if he sees those poll numbers dropping, man, I think he will react. And if he doesn't, others within his caucus will.
Do you think, though, like in all seriousness, do you think that that his voters will is there a chance that the people who put him in this time will turn away from him because of this? I can't imagine it.
I'm not sure because of this, and but I think if they see their like in America, they see that they're not benefiting financially, that things are getting tougher for them. I think it's a cumulative, and I think we're going to see a two-track economy. You're going to see people do very well, but you're going to see a lot of people who won't be doing so well, so I think it will be accumulative. It won't be just this issue. There'll be others. And the other thing is, Pat, we haven't seen any real crisis that's come out of the blue, and these things sooner rather than later happen in the cycle of a government. And I think he's going to have a real problem dealing with it, because one thing that he doesn't have is that political agility, and he just continuously reads the room wrong. This is a guy that has put 3 of his properties on sale, and this is a guy that said that he was entitled to claim his accommodation because the Premier House wasn't ready. This guy really just does not get it.
Yeah. No, I saw you on my Twitter feed in the weekend. It's it's shocking. It's shocking what he thinks he's entitled to, even though he is entitled to it, but it's shocking what he thinks will play okay. Yeah. It's like, oh, this won't matter. I'll show you as well if you like. We're working on some new hoodies. I just told you what we call Nicola Willis Nicky No Boats.
Yeah.
There you go. That's our. It's going to be a hoodie before Christmas, I think.
Nice.